Psych wards are a scam. Let's get into it. Psych wards are a scam. It's just a way for the government to exploit people with mental health illnesses, all for monetary gain. People that work in hospitals get paid good money to work in that environment. Then the doctors, nurses, and social workers get a stipend and or bonus per patient. The longer the patient is in the hospital that they are handling the case for, the more money they get. Hence why they try to keep patients in the hospital for as long as they can. Patients only have to be in the hospital for a certain number of days and then they are to be released. The only reason to keep patients in there longer is if they are violent or a threat to other patients, if they're not removed from the hospital or transferred to another. To keep patients in the hospital longer than the certain amount of days that they're supposed to be in there is completely taking advantage of a person in a vulnerable position. These hospitals hold the power when it comes to how long a patient stays. The hospital abuses that power. They keep patients in the hospital longer than they have to be there so they can directly benefit financially. A patient released is money out the door, money earned. A patient still in there, these workers can collect as much money as they can, but at the expense of another person. All of these workers in the psych ward don't care about these patients. They don't care enough to help a person that is in a vulnerable position or mentally ill. They don't care about your background or your backstory, even if they ask about it. It's for policy purposes only. They're ordered to ask about patients' backstory, but a lot of the workers could care less about the patient. A patient could mention about living in an abusive situation and the patient isn't believed. They'll just write it off as the patient being delusional. What is ironic about being in the hospital is that in the psych ward, there are more sane people than insane. Most people end up in the hospital over an overreaction to one's behavior, and the result is to place them in the hospital even if the patient doesn't need to be there. Once you're in the psych ward, you're under their care, so you aren't allowed to be released until your days are up. However, too many instances occur where patients are kept for too long for a reason that is either unplausible or not stated. Some workers in these psych wards operate sneakily. They'll get patients to stay longer without telling them or without a reason. They'll not inform the patient of their diagnosis, but keep the records for themselves, which is wrong because every patient has the human right to know why they are in a psych ward. That's another thing. People can get thrown in the psych ward without a legit reason. They've gotten into some trouble in some type of way, and with the paramedics, they get transferred to a psych ward so the hospital can meet their quota. Someone can even go to court to get you thrown in the psych ward so judges can meet their quota. The same way police officers issue tickets to meet their quota, psych wards have a quota to meet as well. And they will do that with innocent, sane people that can fall victim if they get placed in a psych ward. Now these people have to recover from being a patient in a psych ward because it's a very traumatizing experience to be in a psych ward. These hospitals don't even help the patients. It's truthfully pointless being in a psych ward because no help is done for the patient. The only thing that goes on in the psych wards is as follows. In the morning, they come in and check your vitals. They feed you 3 meals a day, give you 2 snacks a day, while the patient just sits in the hospital all day, either sitting in their room or the activity room. The only things for entertainment is reading, writing, coloring, word searches, or watching television. They have groups to go throughout the day, but that's really it. No one actually sits down and talks to you about why you're in there and what they can do to help you while you're in there or help you to get out of there. The only talking that they do is talking about your case, which is there to either keep you longer or to decide when you're going to be released. If it's not talking about the case, your case, no one else pays attention to you. No one takes the time to talk to you about your feelings, your experience for being in there, your life struggles. that could have possibly contributed to you being in there? Nothing. They just leave the patients to themselves. They pretty much just let you sit there until it's time for you to be released. These hospitals hurt more than they help. Innocent people have suffered at the hands of these psych wards when this was designed to help people. Psych wards were designed to help people, but they do the exact opposite. Psych wards need to be exposed for how they treat their patients and how the whole system works. It's a poor system that does more damage than recovery. If you've ever been in a psych ward, I'm so very sorry. If you can relate to this, I'm so sorry again. I lived the experience too. I know how it feels to go through that. And I hope your recovery has been going well. And I hope you never have to go back in there. Ever. If you've never been in a psych ward, but you instead wanted to listen to the very end out of curiosity, I hope you never go into a psych ward as well. And thank you for listening and sharing with me this blog about psych wards. Terry Ann Bell signing out.